Welcome back. It's Seth here. Today, I want to discuss a question that I get asked a lot, and that is how much should I be investing? Honestly, this is a great question because most people want to start investing, but they have no idea how much they should invest to get to their goal. And of those individuals that are investing, they just aren't investing enough, even though they think they are. So, the last thing you want is to struggle when you have retired and you should be enjoying life. So it becomes important that you're investing the right amount so they can live comfortably and live the life that you really want to. But before I dive deeper into this topic, please hit the like button down below, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to help grow our channel. Now that you hit the like button, let's dive in. So I think the first thing that we should understand is what is the current state of retirement in Canada? So if we look at retirement as a whole in Canada, most individuals have a lot of anxiety and concern about their future. There was a great survey done by CPP Investments conducted for the Financial Literacy Month of November, and they found that 61% of Canadians fear running out of money in retirement. The anxiety is even more pronounced among adults aged 28 to 44, with 67% expressing concern, and it is felt more strongly by women 66% and men 55%. And nearly 6 in 10 Canadians report feeling financially stressed daily. So from the survey, we see that over 60% of Canadians are really concerned about their future. And if we want to dive deeper into what retirement looks like in Canada, Fair Canada looked at Canadians and their investing habits, and they uncovered a lot of details. And truthfully, some of the details are very grim. Fair Canada had a lot to take away from the research, but the first one that caught my eye was that 80% of investors start investing at the average age of 35. If you've been following this channel for a while, you already know that I always push individuals to start investing in their 20s because this way you can take advantage of compound interest and you can invest more in the long term. By starting to invest as early as possible, you'll set yourself up for a really great retirement versus if you start investing a lot later in life. The second point that caught my eye was that 2/3 of investors are employed and 1/3 of these investors have retired. Of the individuals that have retired, only 18% can live sufficiently off their investments. So this means that most of the investors that have retired have not invested enough money to live sustainably after they've retired. So meaning that most investors will struggle in their retirement life. Now this leads to the next point that most investors do have some sort of pension plan, but 52% will solely have to rely on CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan, or QPP, the Quebec Pension Plan. CPP and QPP do not give you sufficient money to live a comfortable lifestyle. On average, CPP provides $900 a month, and if you live in Quebec, QPP would provide you an average of $700 per month. This means that CPP and QPP will provide you less than $11,000 a year. That is just not enough, especially today when everything has just gotten way more expensive. The last big stat that Fair Canada found was the average investment made by age group. The median investor had $125,000. And if we look at the age that most individuals retire in Canada, which is 65, the median investment was $230,000 and the median investment was $270,000. Let me tell you guys one thing. That's just not enough money to live off once you have retired. That makes sense why most investors have some sort of pension plan, because if they didn't, most investors would just really struggle to get by. So I don't want to scare you guys too much. Now that we're aware of what the investments are looking like for most retirees in Canada, you're probably wondering, what percentage of my income should I be investing? Well, there's two different approaches that you can take when you start to invest. The first one is that you would work backwards from the lifestyle that you want to have. I would say this just isn't a very popular method, as most people change their mind of what they want their lifestyle to look like quite frequently. Also, as expenses are going up, your lifestyle is constantly changing. So it's difficult to put a number on that. And if you are someone that's looking for a very lavish lifestyle when you retire, that would mean that you have to invest a lot up front, meaning that you would sacrifice more of your lifestyle now. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. So the other common method is 50-30-20 rule. This is where you spend 50% of your after-tax income on your needs, such as your rent or mortgage, your car payments, utilities, and clothing. 30% of your after-tax income should be allocated to your wants. This is money that you spend on vacations, going out to lavish dinners, and your recreation activities, such as sporting events or concerts. And the remaining 20% of your after-tax income should be saved and invested. The beautiful thing about this rule is that it provides structure and consistency, because investing is a long-term approach and one needs to be consistent to get the results that they desire. Also, I do understand that if 50% is not enough to cover your needs, you can try the 65, 20, and 15 rule. This is the same rule. The only difference is that you're allocating your after-tax income just slightly differently. 65% would go to your needs, 20% would go to your wants, and 15% would go to your savings and investings. And if you want to learn more about the 65, 20, 15 rule, I've made a video before on this topic, and I'll put the link down below so you can check it out. Now that you have an idea of how to invest for your retirement, we should now move forward in setting a retirement goal. This goal is different for everyone. If you're someone who's going to have a high income or already have an high income, such as a doctor or engineer, you most likely have an affluent lifestyle already. So this means that you would have to grow your nest egg a bit larger than someone who doesn't want a lavish lifestyle or a bit more of an affluent lifestyle. Fidelity did some great research to determine how much of your current income you would need to live a similar lifestyle. Fidelity used the national spending data to determine that retirees spend between 55% to 80% of their pre-retirement income on average. And Fidelity has gone ahead to look at what the current percentage of your income is needed to live comfortably from the ranges of below $50,000 to past $120,000. From the chart that's provided by Fidelity, you can find that anyone making less than $50,000 would have to maintain 80% of their current income to live a similar lifestyle, and those individuals that are making over $120,000 would need 55% to 65% of their current income to live a similar lifestyle. So now we can use this chart to determine how much of an investment portfolio we need to live this comfortable life. Now I'll run through an example of how I would determine someone's investment portfolio size. So we'll use my friend Bob as an example. Bob is 35 years old and currently has an income of $75,000. Based on the chart provided by Fidelity, they would say that Bob would need 75% of his current income to live sustainably. This would mean that Bob would need $56,250 to live comfortably. Now you want to use the 4% rule. If you don't know what the 4% rule is, at a high level, you should be able to withdraw 4% of your investments every single year for essentially forever. And the theory behind this rule is that your investments would probably grow at an average of 8%. And if you only withdraw 4% of your investments, at the end of the year, you still have a growth of 4%, thus making it very hard for you to run out of your investments once you've retired. So what you would do is take $56,250 and divide it by 4%. And this would mean that Bob would need an investment portfolio a bit greater than $1.4 million. And once you have your number that you need to retire comfortably, you can use an online calculator where you can play with the average return and the amount that you're investing per year to determine how long it would take you to get to your goal. I will add a link to the calculator that I personally use down below. So now hopefully you figured out how much you need to live comfortably once you retire. I do want to note a couple things. The first thing is that you should be careful of lifestyle inflation. The more money you make as you move up in your career, the more money you'll end up spending on lavish things. Those being bigger and nicer vacations, going out for dinner at more expensive restaurants, and partaking in a lot more recreational activities. The biggest downfall with lifestyle inflation is most people don't adjust their investments as their income goes up. So once individuals retire, they struggle to maintain the same lifestyle they had before retirement. So as your income goes up, remember to also increase the amount that you're investing. Another thing that I want to note is that by the time we retire, we want to have most, if not all, our debt paid off. We really shouldn't have any credit card debt, outstanding lines of credit, or car payments. And your mortgage should be paid off or fairly close to being paid off. This way, by having all your debt paid off, it provides you with another cushion. Even if you weren't able to hit the goal size of your investment portfolio, by not having debt can help you maintain a similar lifestyle as before. And the last point that I want to make is that you should be able to balance investing and living life. This is something that I really struggle with, and a couple of other individuals that I know. Sometimes we get so eager into chasing our goals that we kind of forget the bigger picture. The truth is, life is short. You should go out there and try a new thing, travel, try foods that you haven't tried before, but everything can be done at a reasonable price point. You don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to enjoy life. You can do everything in a reasonable cost and still live a fulfilling life. So don't get caught with just saving and investing. Remember to live life because that will help you grow as an individual as well. So that's it for this video, and I really do hope you guys enjoy this video and learn something new. Please stay tuned for future videos, and until next time, remember to keep investing.